Tay Keith is gone, and the final hours leading up to his passing are stirring up questions that still echo through the hip-hop community. Questions with no clear answers. For a man whose signature drum patterns have ignited car speakers across the world, whose producer tag has kicked off some of the biggest anthems in modern hip-hop, the suddenness of his exit almost feels like a shock too big to fully digest. It's hard to believe that someone who shaped the sound of a generation could vanish so abruptly, leaving fans, artists, and the culture at large searching for clarity. Right now, everyone is asking the same haunting question. What really happened in those last critical hours before the world was rocked by the news that Tay Keith was gone? There's a complex story here, a sequence of events, a timeline that extends far beyond the moment the headlines hit. And by the time you finish this video, you'll see it all unfold in vivid detail, piece by piece. Trust me, this is one story you don't want to miss. What's up, fam? Today we're diving into not just the life and legacy, but the final, heavy days of one of the most influential producers hip-hop has witnessed in the past decade. This isn't just a recap, it's a deep dive into a remarkable journey that's far heavier and more emotional than most people realize. And it deserves your full attention. Before we jump in, I want to be straight with you. Since the news broke, the internet has exploded with theories, timelines, and bold claims. Everyone asserting they know exactly what unfolded behind closed doors. But here's the truth. We're going to sift through it all, separating fact from fiction, legitimate reports from pure speculation. Because woven through the noise is a real, compelling story about a kid from Memphis who started from almost nothing and built an empire with nothing but his talent and relentless drive. That's the story we'll honor, and the rumors, we'll call them out for what they are at every turn. Everything changed on Thursday, June 18th, the date that stopped the music suddenly. Tay Keith, a producer whose beats have powered some of the decade's biggest hits, was found inside his Nashville apartment, and within hours, his name was trending everywhere, but not for the reasons anyone wanted to see. Hold up, don't jump to conclusions just yet. Even those closest to the situation are still piecing together what really happened. The official cause hasn't been confirmed, and here's where things get intricate. The days leading up to that moment, the unsettling silence from those who knew him best, that's the part of the story that really starts to unravel. And it's only from there that you can begin to understand the full picture. All right? Let's dive deep into why this story is resonating with so many people and shaking culture in a way few others have. To truly grasp the impact of Tay Keith's journey, you have to rewind and look at where it all began. His path wasn't paved with privilege or handed down on a silver platter. No, it was painstakingly constructed, brick by brick, from the ground up, originating from a part of Memphis that rarely gets the recognition or respect it deserves. Born as Bratavius Keith Chambers, Keith's early life was anything but easy. In interviews later on, he opened up about the struggles he faced growing up in Section 8 housing, primarily raised by his mother. His story isn't one of gloss or glam. It's about real hardships that don't show up in flashy highlight reels. Navigating the challenges of food stamps, relying on government assistance, and fighting every day just to hold on to some semblance of stability for his family. Born in South Memphis, Keith's family moved through different corners of the city over time. East Memphis, then Orange Mound, a historic neighborhood with some of the deepest African-American roots in the country, and a long-standing connection to Memphis's legendary music scene. And here's where the story gets even richer. Memphis isn't just a city, it's a musical heartbeat. The streets pulse with a sound and culture, unlike anywhere else on Earth. Long before Keith was shaping any hits, Memphis had already birthed iconic acts like 3 6 Mafia and 8 Ball and MJG, crafting a gritty, hypnotic, bass-heavy vibe that's completely unique. That sound wasn't just in the air, it was practically part of Keith's DNA from childhood. He wasn't merely a fan absorbing beats, he was steeped in a deep tradition, something intensely local and authentic. By the time he hit 14, Keith had moved from listening to actively making music. He dove into producing beats using whatever software or tools he could find, uploading his creations to places like YouTube and DatPiff, throwing his art into the vast digital ocean without any guarantee it would catch even one ear. That demonstrates the essence of who he was before the fame arrived. Not some kid chasing trends or shortcuts, but a young artist shaped by struggle and driven to build something intelligent, original, and entirely his own. Here's the part that really sets him apart. Many young producers from tough environments feel a pressure to drop everything and give their all to music, especially when opportunity knocks. Keith did something different. He believed in balance. While his career slowly began to rise, he enrolled at Middle Tennessee State University and remained committed to his education. He was once quoted saying, "It wouldn't make sense to start college if you didn't plan to finish it," a testament to his discipline and vision beyond just the music. That mix of determination, talent, and grounded perspective laid the foundation for everything that was still to come. He could have easily dropped everything to chase music full-time, but he chose not to take that easy route. Instead, he committed to finishing his education, graduating from MTSU in December 2018 with degrees in integrated studies and media management. Pause for a moment and really let that sink in. This was the same year his name was already skyrocketing across the hip-hop landscape. Balancing college life with an emerging music career isn't simple, but his breakout wasn't some stroke of luck or happenstance. It came through a powerful collaboration with a fellow Memphis artist, Blockboy JB. The two started working together locally, and the chemistry they created transformed into one of the most significant regional to national success stories in recent rap history. Their track, Look Alive, didn't just become a hit, it became a cultural moment. The song practically defined a generation, a city's sound, and a pivotal moment in hip-hop. It was more than just a song, it was a movement that caught the eye and ear of one of the biggest superstars in the world, Drake. When Drake heard what was bubbling up from Memphis, he was pulled directly into Tay Keith's orbit, setting off a chain reaction that would propel him even further. From that pivotal moment, everything accelerated at a dizzying pace. Tay Keith's producer tag, his signature sound drop, started emerging on records from some of the most influential artists in the industry. It became instantly recognizable, almost like a voice of its own, a calling card stamped on chart-topping hits. He co-produced Drake's Non-Stop, and then his work on Travis Scott's Sicko Mode completely redefined what a hit record could sound like. That song wasn't just popular, it rewrote the rules of rap music, blending genres and influences in a fresh, mind-blowing way. His work on Sicko Mode earned him a Grammy nomination for Best Rap Song when he was only 23 years old. Yes, 23 years old, and Grammy nominated off a beat that would go on to influence an entire era of hip-hop producers and artists alike. But Tay Keith didn't stop there. He was just getting started. His catalog grew and expanded, quickly becoming the kind of list that most producers spend decades chasing. He went on to work with Eminem on Not Alike. He collaborated with Cardi B, Lil Baby, and helped shape Sexy Red's biggest breakout tracks. He even secured a coveted production credit on Beyoncé's live album, Homecoming, contributing to the bonus track, Before I Let Go. Think about that for a second. A single producer working across generations, regions, and subgenres, shaping the sound of music that spans the entire spectrum of hip-hop culture. All of this started with a kid from Memphis, who began sharing beats online as a teenager just dreaming of a break. Fast forward to 2024, and that incredible body of work finally received the formal recognition it deserved. Tay Keith was crowned Producer of the Year at the BMI Awards. By the time he won, Forbes had already documented his astonishing journey, a rise from humble beginnings in Section 8, housing to the heights of the music industry. A story that inspires millions and proves that with dedication, talent, and the right connections, nothing is impossible. From humble beginnings to becoming one of the most sought-after producers in the nation, Tay Keith's rise was nothing short of extraordinary. But through every beat he crafted and every headline he made, he never forgot his roots. He constantly spoke about where he came from, Memphis, and about his deep desire to give back. It wasn't just about music for him, it was about building opportunities for the communities that shaped him. He partnered with local programs, reaching out to help kids growing up in neighborhoods just like the one he once called home. And if any young producer reached out for guidance, he never hesitated to mentor them, passing on the knowledge he'd gathered along the way. This spirit of generosity and loyalty wasn't just a side note, it was the very foundation of who he was. Now, let's dive into the timeline that so many fans, friends, and insiders have been desperately trying to piece together. This is where the story takes an intense emotional turn, where things get real in a way that wasn't easy to see coming. From the outside world, leading into those final days, Tay Keith didn't look like a man losing his grip on the industry. In fact, he appeared to be at the peak of his game. He had just been honored as one of the top producers in the business, a clear sign that his influence and impact were as strong as ever. He was still collaborating with some of the biggest names in music, dropping credits on new releases, and riding that wave of momentum he'd been building for years. To everyone watching from afar, this seemed like a success story still unfolding. Like there were many chapters left to write. That's why the shock was so profound. There was no public stumbling block, no dramatic downfall in front of the cameras that anyone could point to and say, "That's when it happened." However, as we inch closer to those last days, something subtle but significant shifts. The trail of public information thins out noticeably. And that's understandable, because this is a real person's private life we're talking about, and much of what happens behind closed doors doesn't ever see the light of day. What has surfaced through trusted sources, friends, collaborators, and close confidants, is that those who knew him best began to sense something missing. There was an unusual quiet, a gap where there had always been constant communication. One of the most poignant revelations came through a tribute by Blockboy JB, a longtime collaborator and friend. He shared screenshots that tell a story all on their own, a long history of nearly daily phone calls between the two. These weren't casual acquaintances checking in once in a while. This was a pattern of consistent dialogue, a kind of brotherhood steeped in constant connection that had lasted years after their breakout hit. Look Alive propelled them both into the spotlight. Pause and let that sink in for a moment. It's not just a factoid, it's a deep insight into their relationship. These two weren't drifting apart quietly after their success faded. They were still in almost daily contact, sharing ideas, encouragement, and friendship long after the world watched their names rise together. So, when that kind of communication suddenly stopped, even briefly, it hit differently. For anyone witnessing from the inside, this wasn't just a minor change. It was a sign that something more serious was happening beneath the surface. From an outsider's perspective, this is the exact moment when worry began to quietly creep in among those who knew him best. It started as a subtle shift, an unusual silence, a noticeable gap where regular contact once was. For people close to him, that silence wasn't just strange, it was alarming enough to raise red flags. While the exact details about who first reached out or the precise moment concerned tipped into action remain unclear publicly, one thing is certain. This growing unease eventually sparked a welfare check, a critical step that takes place when someone's well-being can't be confirmed through usual means. For anyone unfamiliar with the term, a welfare check is when a friend, family member, or neighbor asks local authorities to go and make sure a person is physically safe because they've been unexpectedly out of touch. Maybe no one has seen or heard from them in a way that breaks from their normal routine, and the people who care want to be sure everything's okay. This welfare check often marks the turning point where private worries break out into the open for all to see. On the early afternoon of June 18th, officers arrived at Tay Keith's apartment on Martin Street in Nashville. There, they found Bratavius Chambers, known professionally as Tay Keith, who was 29 years old. The official police statement that followed has been shared in almost every report covering the story, but it's worth pausing to unpack those carefully chosen words. The release said, "No foul play is suspected," and his death is currently unclassified, pending further examination. That phrasing might seem straightforward, but it carries a lot of weight. No foul play suspected means that the scene and circumstances officers observed gave no indication of violence or criminal activity leading to his passing. There were no signs suggesting anyone else was involved, and the authorities found nothing alarming that would hint at a crime. The phrase unclassified pending autopsy means the medical examiner has yet to determine an official cause of death. There's no confirmation yet whether it was related to a specific medical condition, substance, or any other identifiable factor. Simply put, the precise reasons behind what happened remain uncertain. Right now, anyone claiming to know exactly why this happened is offering guesswork rather than verified facts. The truth is, we're still waiting for the autopsy to shed light on the full story. This uncertainty is uncomfortable, but essential to acknowledge. And this uncertainty has fueled the fastest growing part of the entire narrative, the online reaction. Within mere hours of the news breaking, social media erupted. In the wake of sudden, high-profile deaths, where no official cause is immediately announced, people rush to fill the silence with speculation. They start hunting for answers, trying to make sense of the unknown, and that's exactly where things begin to spiral, in ways that demand careful attention. Uncertainty doesn't sit well with people. When a story is left hanging, without a clear ending, it creates this unsettling feeling, as if something's missing, begging to be completed. It's that gap that gets everyone thinking, guessing, and filling in the blanks on their own. If you've spent even a little time scrolling through comment sections, forum threads, or watching reaction videos, you've probably noticed the same patterns emerging. Theories start swirling around. Whispers and wild guesses about substance use, rumors of an overdose, speculation about the pressure of the music industry, mental health struggles, or whatever narrative feels like it might finally bring closure to the story. But here's the twist. None of this has been officially confirmed. Not by the police, not by the medical examiner, and certainly not by his family. Every single theory out there is just chatter. It's not based on inside information or official reports. This is purely public speculation, fueled by the desperate human need for answers and closure. And that distinction is crucial because it's more than just a story to consume. It's a deeply personal tragedy for a real person, surrounded by a mother, friends, and a whole community in Memphis who are grieving profoundly right now, not just watching a dramatic plot unfold on a screen. If this pattern feels familiar, it's because it's a widespread issue with how news spreads in today's digital age. The moment a celebrity dies suddenly, and the cause isn't quickly shared, the internet rushes to fill that void with theories and facts. Almost every single time, there's an official statement that says, the cause of death is under investigation. And within hours, entire discussion threads and confident declarations pop up, speaking as if they have insider knowledge. Sometimes, law enforcement findings do align with early speculation, but often, they don't. The biggest challenge is that once rumors start spreading, they travel at lightning speed, far faster than any formal correction can catch up. By the time the actual facts emerge, if they're ever released publicly at all, the imagined versions have already shaped how most people think about what really happened. So, if you've come across people online insisting they know Tay Keith died of an overdose, or claiming to know exactly which substance was involved, it's important to understand that none of this has been officially confirmed by law enforcement or medical authorities as of now. People are telling stories because the true story hasn't been fully revealed yet, and the silence leaves an open door for speculation. What has been clearly and publicly confirmed so far isn't the cause of death, but rather the outpouring of reaction. From those who truly knew him best came the most heartbreaking expressions of loss. Blockboy JB, Tay Keith's closest partner in crime, the man whose own career has been forever intertwined with Tay's hits like Take He's Through and Look Alive, laid his sorrow bare for the world to see. He shared a glimpse behind the curtain, a tender moment captured in a photo of the two of them side by side, paired with screenshots of their daily conversations. These weren't just casual chats. These were real, ongoing exchanges between two friends and collaborators who leaned on each other through every high and low. This private slice of their bond transformed into a deeply personal public tribute, a way of reminding everyone that Tay Keith was so much more than just a name behind the boards. He was a confidant, a constant presence in someone else's life, a brother in arms far removed from the usual business facade. That kind of tribute hits differently. It's raw, it's specific, and it's painfully real. It's not your typical rest in peace message from a colleague. It's a living testament to a friendship that ran beneath the surface, often overshadowed by the music they created, but never absent from the heart. Beyond this inner circle, the shockwaves sent through the music community revealed just how profoundly Tay Keith had shaped the sound of an entire era. This wasn't some local beatmaker confined to Memphis or a niche name known only to the most dedicated hip-hop enthusiasts who obsessively dissect production credits. No, Tay Keith's signature had played in the background of some of the most streamed and iconic tracks of the past decade. His distinctive sound was instantly recognizable from the moment his tag dropped, the kind of beat that you don't need to think twice about before nodding your head. When someone's reach expands this widely, their loss doesn't just touch one corner of culture, it ripples through multiple layers all at once. And that's why you saw names like Drake, Travis Scott, Eminem, Cardi B, Beyoncé's team, Lil Baby, and even Sexy Y Red, all connected through collaborations with him. Such a sprawling network of partnerships is rare for any producer, revealing the breadth of influence Tay Keith wielded quietly but powerfully. It's that unique scope of relationships that made the news of his passing spread with such speed and leave so many devastated. But this story goes beyond just one extraordinary individual. It highlights a recurring theme that echoes throughout the music industry time and time again: a misunderstanding about success and struggle. The public often assumes that once an artist or producer reaches a certain level of fame, racks up high-profile collaborations, or grabs prestigious accolades, the worst battles are behind them. We see the shiny Grammy nominations, the platinum records with Beyoncé, Drake, and Travis Scott, the BMI Producer of the Year award, and we imagine everything is perfect. Yet, the truth is far more complex. Behind the glitz and the applause, deeper struggles often persist unseen, hidden behind the scenes. This industry, glamorous as it may seem, can carry silent battles that don't fade with success. They sometimes intensify. Tay Keith's story is a painful reminder that even at the peak of achievement, human challenges continue, making the loss feel even heavier, and the reminder to cherish each moment all the more urgent. When you hear about someone winning year award after year award, it's easy, almost automatic, to picture a life that's settled and serene, secure, joyful, and free from struggle. We want to believe success is this magical shield that guards against pain, loneliness, or exhaustion. But the truth? Success never promised anyone immunity from those things. It doesn't block the waves of isolation that can sneak in when you're caught up in an endless grind. It doesn't erase burnout from the relentless chase of staying relevant in a fast-moving industry. In fact, the immense pressure that comes with being as sought after as Tay Keith creates its own hidden burdens. These challenges are almost invisible to outsiders because what the world sees, the glossy highlight reel, is only a tiny slice of reality. On the surface, everything looks like it's perfectly aligned. But behind that polished image is a whirlwind of late nights, tight deadlines, and an unyielding demand to deliver hit after hit. Think about what it genuinely takes to build a discography as impressive as his. It's not just raw talent, although Tay Keith's natural skill is undeniable. It's exhaustive hours of grinding, being ready whenever an artist calls, often late into the night, juggling multiple projects at once, and pushing through creative blocks that no one outside the studio ever witnesses. Along with that, he carries the weight of his reputation as one of the most wanted producers in the game. Every new beat isn't just a beat. It comes wrapped in the expectation to outdo what came before, to keep climbing higher, and never lose momentum. Imagine how mentally draining that pressure must be. And then there's the balancing act between an industry that demands constant access and the deep human need for privacy and a life beyond the fame, beyond Tay Keith, the hitmaker. Trying to hold on to who you really are, separate from your public persona, can feel like walking a tightrope over a chasm. None of those struggles, stresses, or emotional battles are visible in a Grammy nomination or a #1 chart position. That's exactly the tricky part. When people glance at accolades, they think they understand the full story. But achievements are just a snapshot. They rarely capture the complexities of someone's inner world, or the unseen fight behind the scenes. And here's the crucial piece we can't overlook. Tay Keith's journey didn't begin in a place of privilege or easy opportunity. Far from it. His roots trace back to Section 8 housing, to a family depending on food stamps and government support, with a single mother tirelessly holding everything together through intense financial hardships. These beginnings don't vanish the moment success arrives. The weight of that past lingers in subtle ways, as a quiet flame of motivation, a deeper understanding of the stakes, and sometimes lingering fears or pressures that shape every decision. Those early experiences are etched into a person's soul, influencing how they handle triumphs and setbacks alike, no matter how much their external circumstances change. And that's exactly what it accomplished for him, bringing his dreams into sharp, vibrant focus. Tay Keith didn't shy away from speaking his truth. He openly shared his deep desire to give back to Memphis, the very city that shaped him. He spoke passionately about teaming up with programs dedicated to uplifting kids from the same neighborhoods he once called home. More than that, he was always just a message away, never hesitating to mentor young producers reaching out, offering guidance and encouragement to those chasing their own dreams. This generous spirit, it's a rare and beautiful quality, one that truly reveals the heart of the man he was behind the beats and the fame. But beneath that generosity lies a quieter, more complicated truth. People who endure real hardship often carry an invisible weight, a silent kind of pressure that lingers long after they've left those struggles behind. It's the constant, unrelenting need to prove over and over that their success is genuine, earned honestly, and most of all, secure, that nothing can strip it away. Behind the scenes, we don't know what battles Tay Keith might have been facing in his final days. We aren't privy to that private world, and we wouldn't dare guess. However, it's essential to step back and understand a broader, harder reality. Fame and fortune don't automatically bring peace or quiet the mind. At its core, this story goes far beyond just one producer's last days, one official report, or even a cycle of online chatter. It's a powerful reminder of how easily we, whether as fans, critics, or simply curious onlookers, can confuse public recognition for personal fulfillment. We often mistake a string of hits for a complete, happy life. The truth is, many of us have fallen into this trap, ourselves, assuming that once someone has enough money, enough trophies, or enough fame, their struggles must have vanished. We see it everywhere. Athletes praised for their accolades, actors celebrated for their blockbuster roles, musicians applauded for their chart-topping songs. We look at their houses, their collaborations, their awards, and treat all of it as the sum total of their lives. But that's rarely the full picture, because while influence, wealth, and recognition are meaningful achievements, they were never meant to replace the fundamentals of a well-rounded life: genuine human connection, restful moments, and support systems that have nothing to do with fame or status. These are the pillars of true well-being, and no amount of external success can fill that void. Now, the real question facing us all is, what does this moment signify for the culture of the music industry and beyond? Will it spark a real, lasting change in how we talk about the pressure and isolation artists experience? Or will this conversation simply dissolve when the next headline emerges, swept away by the fast currents of news cycles on social media? Tay Keith's journey was nothing short of remarkable. From a young teenager sharing beats on Dat Piff, to a dynamic producer carrying the torch for Memphis, reshaping the sound of mainstream hip-hop, to ultimately standing on a Grammy nomination stage, he crafted an extraordinary legacy. His story deserves more than fleeting headlines. It deserves reflection, understanding, and a commitment to supporting the true human beings behind the fame. From collaborating with some of the music industry's absolute giants to earning the prestigious BMI Producer of the Year award, Tay Keith's journey is nothing short of remarkable. This rise reflects not only his immense talent, but also a rare combination of unwavering dedication, grit, and resilience in an incredibly competitive world. It's far too easy to reduce his story to the headlines about how it ended, but that would be a huge disservice. His legacy deserves to be honored in all its complexity and depth. So, as we bring this story to a close, let's carefully separate what we truly know from the swirling rumors and assumptions out there. We know that Bratavius Chambers, famously known as Tay Keith, was found in his Nashville apartment on the morning of Thursday, June 18th, after police responded to a welfare check. Those closest to him had reportedly been worried, unable to get in touch. The authorities have made it clear that no signs of foul play were discovered at the scene. What remains official, though, is that the exact cause of death has yet to be determined. It's still pending the autopsy results, and no definitive answer has been disclosed. Amidst this, Tay Keith's longtime creative partner, Blockboy JB, publicly shared an emotional tribute, highlighting the deep connection and steady communication they maintained over the years. Meanwhile, the internet has exploded with speculation, rumors about substance use, theories of an overdose, and all sorts of guesses trying to fill the silence left behind. But here's the crucial point. None of this has been confirmed by any credible source. It's vital to distinguish informed facts from casual chatter. Until the official report is released, if it ever is, the respectful and responsible approach is to acknowledge the unknown without rushing to fill it with assumptions dressed up as truth. What stands beyond question, however, is the profound influence Tay Keith had on the music world. The next time you hear the opening tag on hits like Sicko Mode, Non-Stop, Look Alive, or Before I Let Go, know that unmistakable signature belongs to a young man from South Memphis, a kid who started with almost nothing, who taught himself the art of beat-making from scratch, and who managed to juggle completing his college degree while his music career took flight. A producer who would go on to shape the sound of some of the biggest names in the industry, and who never lost sight of the city that made him. His story is one of talent combined with perseverance, a lasting testament to what can emerge from humble beginnings. So, now we want to hear from you. What do you make of everything we've uncovered here? How do you think Tay Keith's legacy will shape hip-hop culture going forward? Drop your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. And before you go, be sure to check out the videos on your screen that dive deeper into his biggest tracks and lasting contributions to Memphis's music scene. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who need to hear it. Together, we keep the conversation alive and honor the artists who move us.